I don't know what he said to you guys. Every year we kind of go through an evaluation of the previous year and what we did well and what we need to work on. And so we went through a list of that stuff with Brock, and I think it was self-explanatory, and we come to an agreement on what we're going to work on, why we're going to work on it, how it's going to impact the offense long term, and so yeah, we definitely went through that process.
It was extending plays a little bit part of that too, or?
No, that wasn't one of the top ones. We know Brock can extend plays. Everybody knows that, and that's a big part of his game, and really a game-changing skill, as we saw in the playoffs. That's not something that we go out there and practice and say, okay, we're going to focus on extending plays. That's something that he has naturally.
So what were some of the things, if you can speak about them?
Yeah, so like I mentioned last year when we had this conversation, I think we can continue to get better at our progressions, footwork, how we manage games, situational awareness, the things that all quarterbacks have to continue to get better at. There were a number of things that come up that young quarterbacks have to be aware of as games go on. When you get to the red zone fringe and maintaining field goal position and decisions that are made in those areas where you want to make a big play, but the smart play might be to check it down so you get us in field goal range. Things like that. That's what we talk about, situational awareness, on top of all the progressions, and then growing as a leader off the field, in the locker room, and what that entails and what that looks like. And as you gain more experience and status on the team and the league, within the organization, what opportunities that presents for you to take a little bit bigger voice, and setting accountability and expectations. So those are some of the things we talked about.
Have you seen that from him? We noticed he's a little more talkative at the podium with us. Has he been more in meetings or in the locker room? Have you noticed that just at the end of last season, maybe?
I think it's just a confidence thing. I mean, when you first come here, there's a lot. I think of what Tanner Mordecai is going through now. It's you're swimming mentally, and it's hard to be assertive and demonstrative, and be a leader when you're thinking a whole lot and about your job. So definitely, I've seen Brock grow in those areas, and he needs to continue to.
Him being here and having a full off season where he's not worried about rehab or just getting to learn the offense, have you seen tangible ways that has helped him just here in the last few weeks or a couple months?
Yeah, like I said, I think understanding his role, understanding the mental aspect of it, understanding how close we were last year and that there's an edge and a sense of urgency. And understanding your role in helping to use that to get better as a team collectively. Yeah, I've seen areas of growth in all those areas.
What do you like about Josh Dobbs? What do you think he brings to this situation?
Yeah, Josh has played a lot of football, and he's been in some really unique situations in the last couple of years where he was put under duress, both physically and mentally. He was able to go out and to play at a level that was winning football for the organizations that he was playing for. And so that kind of piques your interest to know that there's a guy like that can handle it mentally, that physically can do it, can play the position, and that is able to garner support quickly from a locker room, and gain their respect, and go win games in a short amount of time like that. So a veteran guy that we know can play, and has come in and fit in well.
You see the improvement you see from Brock in terms of arm strength. How has that gone from where you got him to where he is now? How has being healthy and having the whole healthy offseason helped maybe taking him further in that area?
I think being healthy is definitely going to be a benefit to Brock, having a whole offseason. Things that we can work on, not just his arm, but his whole body, getting out there and working on his footwork. It's hard to work on your footwork and timing as a quarterback if you're not throwing the ball. And last year we tried to work on timing and footwork, but when you don't have to then translate it to actually throwing the ball, it doesn't match up. So I think it's just a real benefit for him to be healthy and to go through a whole offseason.
It's no secret that coaches off this staff are pretty coveted by other teams and get other opportunities. There were reports that you would get interviewed with the Saints to be an offensive coordinator. Is that something you aspire to? I mean, you've been in this grind for a few years now. You know what the hours are like. You know what it's like now as opposed to TV. Is that what you aspire to have your own offense or head coaching?
No, I wouldn't say that. It's not something I spend a whole lot of time thinking about. I know it might sound different, but I really I am accountable to the guys that are in my room and to this team, and I know when I was sitting in their seats, that's what I wanted for my quarterback coach, and and that's kind of what I enjoy, and you never know what's going to happen down the road, but as of right now, I'm happy with it. I'm very grateful for the guys that I'm working with and the situation that I'm in.
It seemed to me just to the naked eye that from year 1 to year 2, Brock in year 1 was a little inefficient rolling to his left, and year 2 lights out. I mean, starting with that Pittsburgh game, he made several big plays rolling to his left. Was that a point of emphasis in between off seasons 1 and 2, and is that something that you guys have really documented that he's gotten better at?
Rolling to his left? No.
You may have already answered something similar before I got here, but what did you see as the biggest leap in Brock's development this past season?
I don't know. Did we answer that?
I don't think so.
Tim was talking.
Got a fresh answer.
Tim was, he was grilling me on it.
Yeah.
He wanted bullet points.
Sounds like a
but,
Tim question.
I try to leave something to imagination, Tim, just so that everybody in the league is not focusing on what we're working on. So, well, we talked about a lot of things, but I think probably the most important is Brock continuing to grow off the field as a leadership in a leadership role within this organization, and I know it's no small feat to be the leader of the face of a franchise and leader of an organization, and that takes time to get the confidence and be comfortable in that position, and understand all the little things that you do during the course of a day, of a week, of a month, of a season that lend into that, and Brock is growing in that area, and I think that's really cool.
Do you have to all discuss, like, I know he doesn't talk about money, he cares, doesn't say he cares, whatever happens, but everyone knows what's coming for him next year, obviously. You've seen guys who've had that adjustment, probably had some adjustment yourself to it. I mean, do you have to talk about it? Do you have to okay, there's going to be a change in your life of unbelievable consequence in a year, if and when that big contract comes?
I haven't talked to him about that, no. I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point, but I